There are 5 rivers in Greek mythology that you have to cross to truly die. Not metaphorically. Literally. 1 erases your memory completely. 1 forces gods themselves to swear unbreakable oaths or be struck mute for 7 years. 1 is made entirely of fire, reserved for people who killed their own parents. And 1 never stops crying. These aren't just obstacles on the way to the underworld. Each river is a punishment, a test, or a mercy, depending entirely on who you were when you were alive. The ancient Greeks didn't just believe in an afterlife. They mapped it, river by river, all the way down. Let's cross all 5. The first river you reach is Acheron, the river of woe. To the ancient Greeks, this wasn't just myth. Acheron was a real river too, flowing through a region in northwestern Greece, and that overlap between the physical world and the underworld made it feel disturbingly close. Death wasn't somewhere abstract. It had a real location you could point to on a map, a place ancient travelers genuinely believed might be an actual entrance to the land of the dead. In mythology, Acheron marks the boundary between the world of the living and the world of the dead. This is where you meet Charon, the ferryman, an old, grim figure tasked with rowing souls across to the other side. Ancient writers didn't describe him kindly. One source paints him as filthy and fierce, with eyes like burning coals and a wild, unkempt beard, a being who has clearly spent far too long among the dead. But Charon doesn't work for free. Every Greek burial included a single coin, an obol, placed under the tongue or over the eyes of the dead. That coin was payment for Charon. Without it, you weren't crossing. And if you couldn't pay, you didn't simply turn back. You were left to wander the banks of Acheron for 100 years, neither alive nor properly dead, waiting for a passage that might never come. There's exactly one famous exception to all of this. In Virgil's telling, the hero Aeneas needed to enter the underworld while still alive, to speak with his dead father. Charon, naturally, refused him. The dead don't get visitors. But Aeneas's guide carried a golden bough, a gift meant for Persephone herself, and the moment Charon saw it, his refusal vanished. Even the ferryman of the dead couldn't say no to a gift meant for the queen of the underworld. For everyone else, there was no golden bough. Only the coin, or the 100 years. This is also where Cerberus waits on the far shore, the 3-headed hound guarding the entrance to Hades, making sure that whatever crosses these waters does not try to cross back. Acheron isn't punishment. It's a toll booth. But fail to pay it, and 100 years of wandering is the price. Cross Acheron, and you reach the most feared river in the entire underworld, the Styx. Styx isn't just a river. She's a goddess, an Oceanid, one of the daughters of the primordial waters themselves. And her loyalty mattered immensely. During the Titanomachy, the great war between the Olympian gods and the Titans, Styx was the first to ally herself with Zeus. For that, she was given an honor no other river ever received. The gods would swear their most sacred oaths upon her waters. This wasn't a casual promise. An oath sworn on the Styx was considered absolutely unbreakable, even for the gods themselves. If a god dared to break a vow made on the Styx, the punishment was severe. They would drink from her waters and lose their voice entirely for an entire year, struck silent, unable to speak among the very gods they ruled alongside. Mortals feared the Styx for a different reason. According to legend, the river's waters could destroy almost anything that touched them. Yet there's a famous exception. When the nymph Thetis wanted to protect her infant son, she dipped him into the Styx, granting him near total invulnerability. That son was Achilles. And the one part of him that never touched the water, the heel she held him by, became the only place he could ever be wounded. Some accounts say the Styx encircled the underworld 7 times. Others say 9, with one Roman poet describing it as confining the entire region in 9 winding, gloomy folds, an unbreakable boundary that no soul, and no god, could cross without paying a price. Once you're across, the dead don't simply wander in. They're brought before judgment. 3 judges wait deeper in the underworld, Minos, Rhadamanthus, and Aeacus, all three sons of Zeus, each one a former mortal king known for ruling fairly while alive. Each soul presents the life they lived, and the judges decide where that life has earned them a place: the peaceful Elysian fields for the truly exceptional, the grey, drifting asphodel meadows for ordinary souls, or somewhere far worse for everyone else. Minos, according to legend, held the deciding vote whenever the other two disagreed. Styx represents the one thing even gods cannot lie about. A promise this serious, sealed in water this dangerous, that breaking it costs you your voice, and crossing it means your entire life is about to be put on trial. The third river doesn't hurt you. It erases you. Lethe is the river of forgetfulness, and its name comes directly from the ancient Greek word for oblivion. Unlike Acheron or Styx, Lethe isn't about punishment or unbreakable promises. It's about disappearing, quietly, completely, from your own memory. According to later Greek belief, particularly as ideas about reincarnation grew more common, souls who were preparing to be reborn into new lives had to drink from the Lethe first. The water would strip away every memory of their previous existence, every face they loved, every mistake they made, every moment that defined who they were. Why would the underworld require this? Because a soul carrying the full weight of a previous life couldn't properly begin a new one. The slate had to be wiped completely clean. The river was closely tied to Hypnos, the god of sleep. His cave, where Lethe was said to flow, was described as a place utterly untouched by sunlight or moonlight, surrounded by poppies and other plants known for inducing deep, dreamless rest. The sound of the river itself, quietly murmuring through that darkness, was said to lull anyone nearby into drowsiness. There's something quietly unsettling about Lethe compared to the other rivers. Acheron costs you a coin. Styx costs you your voice if you lie. But Lethe doesn't ask anything from you at all. It simply takes. You don't choose to forget. You're not even aware it's happening. One drink, and the person you were simply stops existing, replaced by someone who will never know they were ever anyone else. For the Greeks, the river standing opposite Lethe was Mnemosyne. The fourth river doesn't flow with water at all. It flows with fire. Phlegethon, sometimes called Phlegethon, means flaming or blazing, and that's exactly what it was, a river of liquid fire winding through the deepest, darkest part of the underworld, Tartarus itself, the prison reserved for the worst souls imaginable. This wasn't a river you simply crossed. It was a punishment you were thrown into. According to several ancient sources, Phlegethon was specifically reserved for those who had committed the most unforgivable crime in Greek society, killing their own parents. Matricide, patricide, the deliberate destruction of the very bond that gave you life. The Greeks considered this crime so unnatural that an ordinary death wasn't punishment enough. The guilty needed to burn. Later writers expanded on just how horrifying this river could be. Centuries after the earliest Greek myths, the poet Dante imagined Phlegethon as a literal river of blood that boiled the souls trapped inside it, submerging history's most violent figures up to their necks, forced to relive the violence they caused, forever. Phlegethon ran parallel to one of the other rivers of the underworld, and ancient sources describe the two merging together in a massive, roaring waterfall before crashing down into Acheron, fire and grief colliding at the edge of the world of the dead. Where Lethe takes something from you quietly, without your knowledge, Phlegethon does the opposite. It announces itself. It burns loudly, visibly, as a warning to anyone who might consider breaking the most sacred bond a person can have. Some punishments in the underworld were eternal. Phlegethon made sure you never forgot why you were burning. The fifth and final river never stops crying. Cocytus means lamentation, and unlike the roaring fire of Phlegethon or the binding power of Styx, this river is defined by sound, an endless, echoing wail rising up from the underworld itself. Ancient writers described it as the river of wailing, the place where grief became geography. Cocytus was reserved for murderers, specifically those who had killed in hot blood and, crucially, came to regret it afterward. This made Cocytus different from Phlegethon. Phlegethon burned the unforgivable. Cocytus held those caught somewhere in between, guilty of violence, but not without remorse. According to several accounts, these souls didn't simply suffer in silence. They were said to drift endlessly between Tartarus and the shores of Acheron, crying out, pleading for forgiveness from the very people they had killed. Only when that forgiveness was finally granted could a soul move on. Until then, they remained trapped in the wailing current, neither fully damned nor freed. Some sources describe Cocytus not as a flowing river at all, but as a vast, muddy marsh, stagnant and choked, a fitting image for souls stuck in place, unable to move forward, unable to go back, suspended in their own unresolved guilt. It's also along the banks of Cocytus, in some later traditions, that you find the unburied dead, the same souls denied passage at Acheron for lack of a coin, now wandering here instead,